Yeah. Let's go. Yeah. The microphone messiah. Yeah. It's the microphone messiah. And Mr. No Days Off. Microphone messiah. Mr. No Days Off.
Hey, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? You know the name, you know the voice, you know exactly why I'm here. I'm a 25-year-old piece of gold, the messiah of the microphone, the greatest sports and recreational podcast from the world today, the California Classic, the Malcolm X of podcasting, the trifecta chief, because I'm everywhere. You know what I mean? Not going to tell you guys to acknowledge me. You already do once you listen to the shows that I'm on. But you know I never do it alone. He's my tag team partner, the Jimmy to my J, the Totem Arn, the Stevie Ray to my Booker T. Ladies and gentlemen, the host of the award-winning Under the Radar, host and creator of Curveballs and Chair Shots, the first ever and 12-time Bullet Cast champion, BT12, the Canadian Destroyer, Brandon Tanguma. Brandon, it's Thursday. You know what that means.
It's another edition of the Bullet Cast. Phillip, doing lovely. But we're not alone. We never do it alone, but we're not alone.
We have a third man, brother. Somebody play Voodoo Child. Somebody play it. Somebody do it. Do it now. Do it now. Should I do it? I'm. You know what? Yeah, we're doing it. We're doing it big. We're doing it really big here on the BC today. So we're just gonna go ahead and we're gonna make it happen. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. The current reigning, defending Bullet Cast champion, the host of the Within the Ropes podcast, Brian Tronic, is in the building, ladies and gentlemen. Come on, let them know. Let them know.
Well, let me tell you something, brothers. Dudes, I'm feeling good. I got my vitamins. I got my water. I'm feeling good, dude. Ric Flair. Dude.
Brian, what's going on, man?
I'm doing good. Thank you, Phillip, Brandon, for having me on the Bullet Cast. Oh, this feels good.
You're the champion. It only makes sense.
I could cry again.
I mean, like you're the world champion. You know what I mean? Like Rogan, he doesn't have anything on you. You know what I mean? I mean. Brandon and I, we know what it's like to be the champ. It feels great. We've had it so many times, but each and every time you hold it, it's awesome. But I mean, I remember the first one. The first one is always special. You always remember your first.
To come in and put the work in and become champion. It's truly one of my greatest accomplishments, and I want to thank everybody in the world for believing in me and for not believing in me. The hostile takeover is real.
Absolutely, man. I mean, you got an anniversary coming up. You're champ on the anniversary. Like, come on, man. Come on.
Where my peeps at?
Cue the music, or however the countdown goes. I love it, man. But no, Brian, seriously, thank you for coming on, man. You might have to be a permanent fixture. I like mixing it up. I'm like Vince. I love to shake things up again. And but I mean, we've had a lot of people come on this show. I mean, you're no young boy number 2. That was one of the greatest audio recordings in history. But I mean, you're up there, man. Very entertaining. You know your ish. We can talk about basically any era, and I like that.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
But we gotta.
You're telling me he might be the new other guy?
No. He has his own name. That's Brian Tronic.
Okay.
That's Brian Tronic in this thing, boy. Come on, man.
Yes.
You know what? Chronic is the name of this episode. There we go. Boom. That's
Chronic.
It. Absolutely. But we got to talk about it. Big news hit last weekend. Bray Wyatt was released from the WWE. The last time we saw him was in a Firefly Funhouse after WrestleMania this year. He said he was going to step away for a while, and well, he did. He's no longer with the company. Brandon, I haven't heard your thoughts about this. Brian and I, we were on in the click, and we went pretty in depth about this. But Brandon, give us your thoughts.
So the Bray Wyatt news, when it first happened, we were doing a recording of Curveballs and Church. I was listening to it every Friday or Saturday. You know, we do sports and wrestling. You know, no big deal, whatevs. But it did like shock me when it first happened. But then kind of once the dust settled, and I kind of like thought more about it, it didn't shock me too much because he was gone for such a long period of time. And then the thing that kind of like shocked me is kind of like how shocked everybody else was, because I mean, for me personally, like we've talked about, I mean, we've been doing this podcast the entirety of the Bray Wyatt Fiend character. You know, I know a lot of people like it creatively. You know, maybe there's some things that are much different than what the regular WWE storylines do. But like, I was never the biggest fan of the Fiend character, and just kind of Bray Wyatt in general. Like his wrestling never really got a hold of me. I really liked his cult leader, the early days of the Wyatt family. I enjoyed that much more than this current Fiend incarnation. But then once again, just the matches just never really lived up to the hype. Now, I don't know if that's him. I know pretty much all the big time matches he had, he always would lose, which always put him behind the 8 ball. You know, the John Cena match at WrestleMania 30. He probably should have won that one. But then, you know, my sources, AKA Wade Keller, shout out. He's talking about how, you know, there was some things behind the scenes that maybe led to Bray Wyatt's release. So there's just a whole bunch of different things going on. And I was also, I mean, honestly, like I was really shocked of how like shocked and kind of angry people were about it, just because like for me personally, I know he like drives a lot of merch and stuff, but I never really saw like Bray Wyatt as like, you know, this big difference maker type of guy. Like I haven't heard what you guys thought. So, you know, if you guys disagree with me, you know, bounce ideas off me. I'm perfectly fine with that.
Brian, why don't you go?
You know, I kind of agree with you. You know, here's the thing about this whole situation. A lot of people tore down a lot of what he did, whether that be, well, especially the Fiend. Let's just talk about the Fiend. A lot of people loved it when it first debuted, but then a lot of people tore it down when he was in the ring. Because honestly, the Fiend character outside of the ring versus inside of the ring, to me, are two completely different people. Two completely different things. When he got released, I was like, well, yeah, he's creative and he's great and he's given us so much outside of the ring, but how much is he giving us inside of the ring? How different did he evolve inside of the ring? I don't think he evolved very much inside of the ring, and outside of the ring, yeah, there's only so far you can go. And we all know Vince, as soon as something comes around that's new and fresh and looks interesting to him, if it doesn't fit to him with one person, he'll just move it on to somebody else. And that's exactly what he did with Alexa Bliss.
That's true. I mean, if we talk about Bray inside of the ring, like the Fiend character, he was pretty dominant. Like in that first match against Balor, he dominated the majority of the match, and I think that's how his matches just should have gone. You know, and he did like that neck, like snap twist thing where it looks like he's breaking somebody's neck. That should have been the finish. I'm gonna throw it out there, you know. But yeah, I mean, it's the whole uproar of WWE, they're terrible for firing him. Like I said in the click, these guys, when they get released, they still get a paycheck while they're sitting at home. You know, they have time to open up pro wrestling tee stores. Hell, they're still selling the Fiend merch right now. Yeah. So he's still getting, like, my guy's still getting paid. Like, calm down. You know what I mean? And I mean, in ring, it didn't really evolve like you guys said. And honestly, the Fiend, it was really cool. But like Brandon said, I was a fan of like the cult leader, Bray Wyatt, and we're going to talk about that in our promo pick of the week. But I mean, I talked to Brian about this, and Brandon, if you're not busy, if you want to jump on Sunday, we're doing a career retrospective about Bray Wyatt. We're going to start from, you know, when he debuts against Kane all the way up until his thing with Randy. We're going to go in, man. And I mean, look, he had some good moments. Couple tag titles. He was the WWE champion. You know, let's not forget that. I got to see him as champion at the Oracle Arena, man. That was a cool sight to see homie with the world championship. 3-time Universal champion. You know, like he was in the match that catapulted to the Roman Reigns tribal chief character. I mean, come on, man. Like he did some prominent-ish. Now, as far as him leaving the company, I've said this. I want him to go to Ring of Honor. Not everybody can go to AEW, which we're going to talk about AEW in a little bit. But, like go to Ring of Honor, Danhausen, PCO, Dalton Castle, like wrestle those guys, do something different. Be the really big fish in a very small pond. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. I don't want him to go to AEW. I know some people are kind of putting connections with him and Brody that he could be the new leader of the Dark Order. I don't want to see that. I mean, there's so many ex-WWE guys going to AEW, and I've always kind of been the guy to kind of defend AEW and say, like, look, these guys are really talented. They should bring them in. I think I kind of draw the line with Bray Wyatt. I already said I'm not the biggest fan of him, in-ring wise. Creatively, I mean, I think creatively, like, he's really good, but then it's just he can't deliver the second half of everything else. So, and we haven't seen Bo Dallas yet. I don't know what kind of relationship they have to whether they want to like kind of do the same thing, if they want to, be connected, or if they even want to wrestle again. So it's just kind of one of those things. They grew up in the wrestling business, and maybe once they're done in WWE, they just kind of are done with it.
I forgot Bo. I forgot he got released. Jesus.
I was like a quiet release. I heard he was working, setting up rings and lights and everything, and then next thing you know, he was gone.
Yeah, pretty much, man. And he was supposed to be like the new age Barry Windham, I heard. Like, go watch the NXT stuff. You can kind of see it. You know what I mean? But Bray, he'll bounce back. Speaking of quiet releases, JoJo was released like 6 or 8 months ago, and it's just now become public.
Hate to see
it.
And
there goes your ring announcer, bro. Yeah, no, we're here to defend Greg Hamilton tonight. Yeah. Yo, we coming for you. Yeah, he doesn't like Charlotte either.
I mean, I didn't say I don't like her. I just said she's number 4 out of the 4 horsewomen.
Whoa.
Hey,
no,
number 4 out of the.
No. I mean, she like if we have to really talk. I mean, we can go Sasha, Charlotte, Bayley, then Becky. If we're being honest.
Are we talking about in terms of popularity or in ring?
Well, popularity. I mean, I don't see Charlotte, Becky, or Bayley popping up on Wild and Out and any other things like that. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So. Anyway, JoJo got released. It's unfortunate. I was a fan of her on the first season of Total Divas. It's great. Go rewatch it on the Peacock.
She waved at me and my son. We were ringside at Raw.
Oh, that's awesome, dude. That's awesome. This is a PG show, Brian. This is a PG show.
Let me chill.
Bulletcast After Dark. You can go crazy. Yeah, so she was released. And then most recently, the Nature Boy, Ric Flair, he was released from his whatever kind of deal he had. There's no kind of no non-compete or no non-appearance. And apparently there's already talks of him going to AEW and to be the manager of Andrade El Idolo along with Chavo to create some kind of Flair dynasty effect. So, Brian, what do you think about that?
Flair needs to go home. He needs to chill. Ric Flair, listen, Andrade don't need nobody else. Okay, he needs Chavo, but he don't need Chavo. He most certainly don't need Flair. Honestly, Flair is a good look to show up and do the woos and talk for a little bit. I can't stand Flair on a pre-show kickoff panel. He just doesn't mix. He doesn't mesh well with what's going on. I honestly don't even think he pays attention to the current product, only when he's there.
I mean, he's too big of a star.
Right.
Like, I don't know what. I don't know. Is he going to start? Hell, go back to Impact. Start another Fortune faction. They could use it. I mean, why not? Kazarian's kind of there. Yeah, let's do that.
He's too old.
Oh God, Brandon, what are your thoughts on Nate going to AEW?
I mean, I think it makes perfect sense. Now, I'm not saying, you bring him in and have him kind of be like a Tully or an Arn where he's there all the time and he's managing Andrade. I don't like the idea of him and Andrade. I kind of agree with Brian. Like Chavo, he's good. It's kind of like a mouthpiece, kind of more of like a translator, but Andrade is perfectly fine on his own. But, going back to the 4 Horsemen reunion, Tony Khan is like a big wrestling fan. And I think that's definitely something he would want to do. And AEW as being, it's great in the 18 to 49 demographic, but if they can get like a 4 Horsemen reunion, get Ric Flair in, that could get the older demographic. Watching AEW, that can maybe take them over the top of 2 million. I don't know, but
I think what they do, are they going to Charlotte anytime soon?
They were just in Charlotte last week.
Okay, they were just in Charlotte. I'm trying to think. They going to Georgia, they going to the Omni, boom. Throw the Horsemen out for like a nice little reunion segment or whatever and be done with it. Pop a rating, you know what I mean? I mean, TK, like, he can afford him. Like, he spent $50,000 to license Are You Ready for that one night. So I mean, he got dough. He can afford Nate, but it's just, what would you do with him? I think, Rick, go home, pop up at a convention or 2 or 3 or 4 or more, and just enjoy your time off.
Ric Flair's gonna never bash WWE because his daughter works there. He's so grateful of what they did for him. Like, they literally rebuilt his confidence after WCW folded. So he's always gonna be indebted to them. But creatively, he just didn't see eye to eye, especially like the Lacey Evans thing that happened. Him feuding with Charlotte and just all the other things. And I mean, I know you kind of defended Phillip when I brought it up last time, but are you finally ready to acknowledge how dumb that Randy Orton Legends Night segment was? Mark Henry, Christian, Big Show, and now probably Ric Flair are all jumping ship, mainly because they didn't feel like they were being treated and respected.
Well, no, I mean, they had a confrontation with Randy and he sent him packing. And hey, Bray, his last match was with Randy. Maybe Randy's he's the I don't know what you want to call it. The AEW sender.
You want to know what's strange about all this?
What?
Is that we don't even see Randy on Raw either.
Where is Randall? I don't know.
You're telling me Riddle's bound for AEW now.
Good riddance. Like, I don't need to see him. He can go back to Evolve, and that doesn't even exist anymore. I don't know, man. It's interesting to see. We got some sad news that we're going to touch into real quick. Will Hobbs, friend of the show, Bay Area native. His mother passed away just recently, so prayers going out to Hobbs and his family. And then last night, beautiful Bobby Eaton, one half of the Midnight Express, he passed away at 62 years old. I'm not sure what the cause of death was, but guys, any thoughts on beautiful Bobby?
Sad news. One of the greatest tag team wrestlers of all time. Him on the Midnight Express. Legendary tag team, and I mean, it's just sad. I mean, I think it was 62 years old. So young. It's just, I mean, it just sucks, and kind of just out of nowhere as well.
Brian,
super out of nowhere. 62 years old. That's younger than my dad. I asked my wife this morning. I said, "That's young, right?" Like, for someone, she was like, "Yeah, that's young." I remember watching him on a lot of WCW Nitros, randomly getting in there with the Young Bucks, Jericho, all the Malenko, Disco Inferno from time to time. Just any and everybody. So, who was he? Was he? He was in a little quick tag team in WCW, right?
Yeah, I think
later 90s.
In the early 90s, I think he was with Jean-Paul Levesque, who became Hunter Hearst Helmsley. I think he was with him, and then they put Hunter with Regal, really quick. I know he wrestled Stunning Steve. He wrestled Stunning Steve a little bit.
He was with Regal too, right?
I don't know. I know he had a little thing.
I can't remember if he was with
Stunning Steve. He was in the Dangerous Alliance with Stunning Steve. Yeah, so I mean, Eaton, he did his damn thing, man. Smoky Mountain Wrestling, of course. RIP to one of the best to ever do it in the tag division. All right, we're gonna jump into SmackDown. This will be the third time you and I have talked about this. Just gonna get into it real quick. So there was supposed to be a contract signing for the Universal Championship. Roman Reigns and Finn Balor were supposed to for their upcoming SummerSlam match. Baron Corbin runs in, attacks Finn Balor. Corbin's about to sign the contract. Then Big Match John makes the run in, and he signs with the left hand on the dotted line. And apparently it's good enough for Adam and Sonya. So now it looks like we're gonna get Cena versus Roman for the Universal title officially. Brandon, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, this segment was just all over the place. I thought maybe we have Roman and Finn at a SmackDown, and then we get Cena and Roman at SummerSlam later on down the line. But, we have this convoluted mess with Baron Corbin early in the show, and then we get the convoluted mess, later in the show with the contract signing. And then, as you said, just because you sign a contract, apparently, it doesn't have your name on it, it's still valid. And I was hoping that after the missionary line that Cena was going to try to change something up, not full-fledged, but just, little tweaks in there. But I think this is kind of one of the issues with WWE is like they're very afraid to just change. If they have something working, they're just going to hammer it home and just continue on with the way that things have been working out. And I mean, I'm not saying it's not going to be a fantastic build. There's still a few weeks, but just regular Super Cena going up against Roman. I mean, it's good, but I think, it was kind of like, I feel like they kind of overcomplicated. Like it's Cena versus Roman. You don't need to do all these things if you're just going to have regular Cena against regular Roman. Like, why didn't they just clash and just, they didn't have to do all this other stuff.
Well, I mean, they had to figure out a way for Cena to get to Roman because Roman didn't want to do it. And I understand that. Like, dude, I beat you already. What do I need to do it again for? You know what I mean?
But then he didn't have to say that last week. He could have, just kind of brushed him off and then maybe have Cena entice him or something like that.
Oh, no. I mean, we need to, I'm ready for the mic work to kick in. Hopefully it kicks in tomorrow night. Like, Brian, does the doctor need to come back?
Maybe. I would have liked to see, I just thought about this. I would have liked to see Cena maybe possibly be in some segments with Roman, sort of like backstage, kind of like how Jay and Jimmy have had to kind of sort of prove themselves to Roman. Like, it would have been nice to have Cena kind of troll Roman, like, oh, what, do I have to prove myself that I need a championship opportunity? All right, I'll play your game. And then have Roman sort of, I don't know, I'm just saying for entertainment purposes, have Roman just line up a bunch of opponents for Cena.
The 5 labors of Cena?
Well, when you put it that way, no, not necessarily 5, but I'm just saying he could have fought Jay. He could have fought Jimmy.
Could have fought Paul.
And it, look, they did.
Jacob fought too. Sean on Hawaii. Just line up, just start going to the dynasty like, hey,
Naomi,
you know how to take a bump? All right, come on.
Either that or it would have been cool to have Cena knock on his door and be like, hey, are you going to give me an answer or what? And just some type of interaction. The Finn stuff doesn't really make sense anymore. I thought we'd at least get a match out of Finn and Roman, but
I think we'll get that eventually.
You think in the next 3 weeks?
No, at some point down the line, we'll get maybe at the next pay-per-view, Finn will be like, all right, hey, you're done with him. Now let's get back to what I was talking about. I think something like that might happen. Yeah. Well, anyway, Sasha Banks has made her return to WWE in a Friday Night SmackDown. She assists Bianca Belair where she's about to get beat down by getting beat down by Carmella and Zelina Vega. Leads to a tag team match. Boss and Belair win. Boss hits her with the backstabber into the bank statement, holds up the championship. Sasha wants to be a 7-time women's champion. Brian, is the Boss going to reclaim the championship?
I don't know. I'm not sure. It's possible. I don't think that it's the right time to kill Bianca's momentum in her run right now. Phil, me and you talked about this last week about maybe possibly stretching this feud until what, like, I don't know, next year or maybe even towards the end of the year. Maybe Sasha could go over Bianca and then Bianca could win it back, something like that. I don't think we get enough of that in WWE right now, but I don't know. Sasha,
you don't want people to just rack up championships. It's kind of why Charlotte's at the level she has so many that she does. Her and Sasha played hot potato for like a couple months. You know, I don't know how they're gonna. I don't know how they're gonna do this. But Brandon, what are your thoughts on the return of Sasha Banks and her turning on Bianca?
Well, I mean, I kind of like predicted this. I kind of thought like, especially with the Bailey injury, it makes sense to have Sasha and Bianca run it back at SummerSlam. But that Minneapolis crowd was like super hot for like everything. But then when it came to like Sasha, for some reason they weren't at that same level like they were for like Cena or even those of like Cesaro or Kevin Owens. Like I don't know what exactly happened. I don't know if it's because of the character work. Like
It's because Minneapolis is stupid.
Okay, I mean now you're the Minneapolis destroyer.
I mean, it's because they're stupid.
The Minneapolis Mauler. Boom, put it on a t-shirt.
Oh, okay. Another gimmick. I'll take it. Yeah, I don't know why they quieted down like that.
That seems common with WWE crowds nowadays.
Pretty much. Hopefully Bailey gets well soon. Brandon, she was out here, bro, last week.
Dang.
At the beer festival. There's another one today. She might pop up. We out?
Sure. Bailey just hobbling around in a wheelchair, just drinking beers.
No, she had a crutch. Oh man. All right, guys, we're gonna stop with the SmackDown talk. We're gonna go to outside of the ring. Adam Cole, baby, could he be out the door? Could he be on his way to All Elite Wrestling? I almost said it. No, I mean the speculation's running wild. I mean his contract was up at the Great American Bash. He did a 1-month extension, so it's coming up like the same day as SummerSlam, or same day or same week as SummerSlam. So I mean, does he re-sign with WWE or does he go over to AEW? Brian, what are your thoughts?
I think he should resign with WWE, but I don't know, man. My senses are telling me that he's going to jump ship. I think he's seen what's happened with everybody that's gotten released, all the fresh, good talent that's gotten released, and just how sudden you could sign a new deal, and then if your creative or your booking isn't right, then Vince could just dump you. And I think he's seen enough at this point. I think if he was going to sign with WWE, I think he would have maybe pushed the narrative. But I think the fact that, because I'd heard that he also he said he didn't want no compete during this time that he's wrestling for NXT right now. So he honestly can show up anywhere, whenever he wants, however he wants. I don't know, man. For something like that, I feel like you have to be thinking about your options.
Yeah, man. Because the Baby Huey sent us a video, and it touched on some racial tones, but I mean, like if you look at the flavor of NXT right now, you do have Legado del Fantasma, you got Hit Row, the breakout tournament. You know, you have a lot of minorities there. Raquel Gonzalez is the women's champion. You know, the former Christian Casanova, Carmelo Hayes is popping up and doing some things. Like it's moved away from the young badass white men. It kind of has. Like let's be honest. And you know the top people in AEW, they happen to be Caucasian. You know, so maybe that's where he would fit in better. I mean, like if I don't know, man, like. If let's say he goes to AEW, that Ring of Honor, his old Ring of Honor music hits, and you see Adam Cole on the Tron, people are gonna pop. You know they're gonna pop. And bro, like if they get him, apparently Daniel's a done deal, and if they get Punk, Cody said it on Dynamite, they are competition, and that would further cement it. Brandon, what are your thoughts on the possibility of Adam Cole, baby, going to AEW to be with his baby?
It's very exciting. I mean, apparently his deal kind of ended like a few months ago, and he's kind of on a handshake agreement, mainly just to at least finish out this feud with Kyle O'Reilly to put him over at TakeOver 36. And as Brian said, there's not a no compete. So if he, does the job on Sunday, he could show up that next Wednesday on Dynamite and just pop up. But and it also just shows that he could have just left for AEW and not even told anyone, and we got a Lex Luger situation on our hands. But I've always been the one who's saying like Adam Cole is a can't miss star. He should be like one of the top guys, if not the top guy in WWE. But just looking around at the landscape of what Vince is pushing right now, like he's going like kind of back in time where he's pushing so many like bigger guys, like literally bigger guys of like Omos and even like whatever. What's the dude who's with Apollo Crews? King
Dabba-Kato.
Dabba-Kato,
I've
you
said
know.
this before. Big guys, they last longer. That's why Hogan was on top for so long. That's why Warrior had the title and so on and so forth. Bigger guys, historically over time, they have lasted longer. They can handle the schedule.
I didn't know Ultimate Warrior lasted forever.
Well, I'm talking about. I mean, given that time period, you know what I mean. Like Warrior wins the title in what 1990. Who's one of the smallest guys on their roster? Marty Jannetty wasn't walking around with the WWE title in 1990. You know what I mean? I'm thinking like that.
But I think Adam Cole is one of like those guys that WWE couldn't miss on, but they've had Kevin Owens, they've had Keith Lee and Matt Riddle and guys like I feel like were slam dunks to be top guys in the company. And then it didn't pan out. And so if I'm Adam Cole and I look, even with Karen Cross shows up, he's doing 50-50 booking with Keith Lee. Or you can go to AEW, which has shown that they can, you get creative freedom. Your friends are there, like, the Bucks and everyone over there from the Bullet Club. He's been friends with them forever. His, girlfriend, fiance is over there. It just makes sense for him to go to AEW. But if he wants to continue to quote unquote chase the dream and be with WWE and be that top guy, then yeah, sign with them. But I just don't think he can be that guy as much as I feel like he should be that guy. He's not that guy.
I don't know, man. I mean, like, if he were to go over there, because like people talk about the second coming of Shawn, Adam Cole has the charisma of Shawn Michaels, hands down, man. And he's been learning from this guy. He's been learning from HBK. He's been learning from Hunter, two of the best that's ever done this. And if he goes over there and uses what they taught him on that channel, hey, man, it would be very, very interesting. I don't know.
And he's so useful, whether it be a heel or babyface. And we're seeing with the Elite, like you can have, the Elite, the top guys get booed and get really big reactions. And I think putting Adam Cole into that mix as well. Like, if you've seen some of the stuff him and the Bucks did back in PWG, like they are just so obnoxious and they would get so much heat and it'd be so much fun.
I'd like to see the babyface run.
But I mean, I think that's what you have to do first. You have to at least bring him in first as the babyface and maybe challenge Kenny. Like he's so versatile. He's so great. There's so many different things you can do on that roster. And then when you look at NXT is like really stale right now. And I just don't really see any fresh options for him. I mean, really anybody down in NXT, and then going to WWE, he's so undersized that I just don't think he'll be like a flash in the pan, maybe get a little bit of a push and then he'll just, fade into the mix like everyone else does.
I don't know, man. If he were to go to the main roster, does he have that Daniel Bryan quality that it's just undeniable? Like you just have to do it. Huh?
I think he does.
I mean, yeah, like it's Adam Cole. You can't mess that up.
But also with the crowds that are back, I feel like I mean, the Chicago crowd, like, yeah, there are CM Punk chants and Bray Wyatt chants, but I also think like those bellwether fans, those quote unquote AEW fans, aren't going to WWE shows really that much anymore. And so those would be the people who would carry the Adam Cole chants and trying to get him, hijack the show and take over and try to chant his name. With the way that WWE crowds are right now, I just don't see them like looking at Adam Cole and being like, look, that's a guy who we want to see, on our television all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. We got to move things along. Max Caster, one half of the Acclaimed, he has some controversy going his way. He had a rap on a recent episode of Dark. It's been edited out, and it was about Simone Biles. And I'm gonna read you what he said. So, he says, "Listen, the Acclaimed kicking ass for miles, making you claim mental health like Simone Biles. The Seidels is going to pay the cost. I'm going to treat those biatches like Duke Lacrosse. The blondes say that they are the best, but those dudes are faker than a PCR test. And what does that smell here in North Carolina? Oh, wait, that's Julia's." And then his mic gets taken away. Not the best look. Not the best look at all. This is kind of why WWE has scripted promos, guys, because they know what's going to be said. This is where the creative freedom gets you in trouble. Brian, I see you shaking your head, man. What are your thoughts?
Oh man, I think that his raps have been okay to me. They aren't the best, but I'm not going to knock him for going out there, every night and, really making an effort. I just think this one was it was nasty. It was bad. The fact that it got through a taped show on YouTube
for 6 days.
6 days. 6 days. I mean, how?
And bro, like Roman's missionary line the first night, it was taken off of the YouTube clip immediately.
On.
That's just the difference in I don't even want to say, but creative booking, whatever you want to say, I don't know. But yeah, Brandon, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I agree with Brian. Like, not a good look all the way around. I mean, Max Caster, like when he first started doing the rap, it kind of rolled my eyes. I did think he's like kind of progressively gotten better. But then this one, it just completely crossed the line. I mean, you got the Simone Biles situation, which has been, a topic of conversation for the past couple weeks. And, that's bad. But then you add not only a rape joke, but a dated Duke lacrosse rape joke from like 15 years ago. Like, what are you even doing? Like, why are you saying that? And then also just like the fact that it took 6 days or no, like, Tony Khan, I don't know if Tony Khan, like, I feel like he should have heard that and like okayed it and be like, okay, didn't think anything of it. And then, now we're here 6 days later and now they're kind of backpedaling. They take it off. And I mean, it's just not a good look. Like, it's one thing when you're attacking or going after like the people in the ring, when hopefully he's clearing it with the people and saying, like running it by them first. Like when he did the John Moxley line, like talk about Renee Young. I really hope he ran that past Moxley and Renee first, but yeah, it's just kind of, especially like kind of being a mid-lower card guy, you're trying to make a name for yourself, but then also maybe you shouldn't be taking those types of risks because you could be like seen as expendable and not worth the headache.
Possibly. Yeah, man, I hope TK looks over the reps from now on. I get what he was trying to do. He was trying to capitalize on a popular topic in the world. And it backfired completely. I don't even know why he would even attempt that. Moving on from that, Peyton Royce said in a recent interview it was her idea to split up the Iconics. She wanted to do something different. So, Brandon, I know you were upset when it happened. So this is on her.
Pain.
This was her doing.
And then what happened? Billy Kay was the one who ended up thriving when the Iconics split up. So
Billy Kay was great. You know what? I might have to hit up Billy Kay. I need to proof up the resume. She has one of the best resumes in the business.
Exactly.
Brian, what are your thoughts on Peyton Royce breaking up the Iconics?
I knew it. I knew it had to be one of them. I thought it was Billy Kay because, like you said, Brandon, Billy Kay was the one who kind of, her wings just went, and come to find out it was Peyton all along. I mean, hey, that's what happens. I mean, she said something in the interview of the likes of Vince or somebody that came to her and was like, "What are we doing here? You're so good." I would have been like, "Nah, I'm good. Yeah, I know, but I like where I'm at right now."
I mean, they were entertaining. They were great. They could have gone down to NXT, won those tag titles. It would have been a fun time.
And then they just put Peyton with Lacey Evans like 2 weeks later.
Who?
Lacey Evans,
Who's that?
The woman who got pregnant apparently from Ric Flair. That's why she's off TV.
A lot of women got pregnant from Ric Flair.
That's why we got Charlotte.
Apparently Halle Berry almost did too. Heyo. Woo! All right, Impact. Let's move on. Impact Insiders. Impact is moving away from Twitch, and they have I think it's like $4.99, $5 a month on YouTube. It's a paid subscription service. That's how
Huh?
that's how you're going to be able to watch Impact Wrestling.
What?
Yes. I don't know when this is taking effect, but this is happening.
They got Impact Plus though. Is that going away?
No, when I saw this, I'm like, well, why don't they just put it on there?
Because the same feed, or at least I thought the same feed that's on Impact Plus was on Twitch. Right?
I don't know.
That's crazy.
I have I think I have the press release in my email. Shout out Ross from Impact. Let's see. Is it in the email? Dun, 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 dun. I no longer have it in the email. Oh well. But yeah, that's something very, very interesting. I know you're the big Impact guy. I know you've done some reviews on your show. Are you sad?
I mean, not really.
No, okay.
Is it still going to be on Access TV, right?
Honestly, I don't know. I would have to read the release.
Hope so.
I mean, it's a nice move for them. Like I know they're trying to be different and whatnot. So I can see what they're trying to do. You know, so I don't know.
That's strange. I'm gonna need them to open up, get a new venue or something. It's too small in there for me sometimes.
Yeah, and then there was nobody in there, and they piped in the crowd noise. I'm just like, oh no.
My wife said it sounds like there's 3 people in there.
Oh God. Pretty much. Speaking of Impact Wrestling, Deonna Purrazzo, the Knockouts champion, and Aiden English, they became the homecoming king and queen, whatever that means. I guess.
What's the stipulation? What's the perks?
They get a crown and they have to dance together.
Pretty much. I don't think Shaw will be too happy about that one. Shaw or Steve Macklin, I don't think they'll be too happy about anything about that. This day in wrestling, ECW WrestlePalooza 1995. This is where Francine makes her return. The Great Sake won the first ever J Crown tournament on this day in 1996, 25 years ago. He won a plethora of championships, which include, are you guys ready? The NWA World Junior Heavyweight Championship, the NWA Welterweight Championship, the UWA World Junior Heavyweight Championship, the IWGP Junior Heavyweight title, the WWA World Junior Light Heavyweight Championship, the British Commonwealth World Junior Heavyweight Championship, the War International Junior Heavyweight Championship, and the WWF Light Heavyweight title.
Did you say the WWE World Junior Heavyweight?
No, the WWA.
Oh, okay.
World Junior Heavyweight title. And then the last one was the WWF Light Heavyweight Championship. Fun fact, the J Crown was Jushin Thunder Liger's idea.
Wow.
And then on this day in 2019, Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss won the women's tag team titles. Look how far they've come.
One's a superhero and the other one's a zombie.
Pretty much. And happy birthday to Tonka, the big 6-0.
Happy birthday to the Italian portraying a Native American.
Tonka 60, that's it?
Yes, man. I mean, Muhammad Hassan, he's Italian. So I mean, you know, like it is what it is. Let's hit the fan mail real quick. Our boy, I think our boys have hit us back, man. Yeah, Hootie Hoo 420.
Hootie Hoo.
Mates, it's bloody bonkers that the juice was loose on Dynamite last night. I feel like a little mate again watching with my dad. Yeah, I mean, we're gonna talk about the juice. It was cool. It was loose. And no, I'm not talking about OJ. Heyo. Oh. How's OJ doing? Do we know, guys? I follow him on Twitter. I haven't seen anything.
I don't know. I think he's just out there golfing.
We haven't heard about him. That's a good thing.
I know. Dude.
OJ, one of the greatest running backs of all time. Great slasher.
What did you just
he had good cutting ability. Like cutting in and out of the seams and being able to turn up field.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's not all.
Heisman Trophy winner, first player to rush for 2,000 yards in a season.
Did he I know he went to jail in the 2000s for trying to steal his stuff back. Did he ever rightfully get all of his merchandise back? Do we know?
Probably not.
Oh my God.
I don't think so.
First time Mojo went to jail. Crazy.
Yeah, I know.
In the mid 2000s.
Yeah. What that, and I think they try to sue him in a civil suit and they lost.
For murdering his ex-wife. I mean,
I mean, not the trial, but he was acquitted. If the glove don't fit, you must acquit. And then like I think the guy that died, like their family or his family tried to sue OJ in a civil trial, and that didn't pan out. So then OJ tried to steal his stuff back, and he went to jail for that.
Crazy.
Why are we talking about OJ Simpson again?
Um,
Because the juice is loose.
The juice is loose. Jack of all trades. Has Goldberg lost his mystique? It's not the same as when he came back in 2016. He has lost his mystique. It's not 1999 anymore. I'm sorry, guys. It's not 98. He's not beating Hogan on Raw in whatever dome or arena was in Georgia. You know, it's not the same.
And when he shows up for 2 months and does the same thing every time, it kind of gets a little old after like the 5th time.
Pretty much. I mean, Brian, you were watching back then. I mean, you can tell the difference.
I mean, kind of.
You know, he doesn't have to win the Royal Rumble, doesn't have to win a number of contenders match. He just shows up and says, "You're next."
Yeah.
Maybe I can
much.
get a promotion like that if I just go up to my boss and be like, "You're next." maybe that's the way I have to do it. All right, and Brightest Day X.
Mr. X.
Hey, Brian, if you ever need any graphic work done in Brightest Day X, he's our guy.
That is some phenomenal work.
You follow.
Yes.
He made the logo that the championship is on, so you know he's the dude.
Spectacular.
All right. He says, "Not Bray, my sweet Bray. This one hurts. I know he'll do amazing wherever he lands, but it's another one of these frustrating releases where it felt he wasn't really given the chance to give us his true vision of this character. A sad time for wrestling fans everywhere." Absolutely. So with that being said, what do you think the rumors that Bray and Vince didn't exactly get along backstage because of the visions each had for Bray's character? Well, obviously, I guess Vince agreed with the vision because he basically let him do what he wanted. you know what I mean? Vince gave it the okay to happen on TV. So
I don't know exactly what like the differences was, but I would probably assume maybe Bray wanted to go a little darker with the character. I think Vince probably, as a PG company, didn't want to go down that route, which I don't know how. I mean, it was always like the Fiend character was like, you know, scary and kind of dark, but it never like went like that far.
I wonder if the Fiend was a thing in the Attitude Era. I wonder how far they would have gone, because people were getting sacrificed by the Undertaker. So I wonder like how far they would have gone.
That's
Maybe,
weird.
well, I was going to say like the Mr. Rogers version maybe been also a little darker as well.
Be honest, Pee Wee Herman in a movie theater. You feel me? Brian, you're about to say something.
Yeah, I was gonna say I can't. It's hard to see Vince and Bray not being eye to eye on this, because Bray did a lot of stuff. You know, the Vince doll. That's a lot of stuff that Bray did. It seemed like Vince would be all for 100% because he thinks it's good shit.
Yeah, and the doll said that at one point in time on Raw. You know, so I'm just like, okay, I guess. He also says, I can see Bray joining the Dark Order or House of Black in AEW, the Righteous in Ring of Honor, or even Contra in MLW. I think he would join the Righteous in Ring of Honor. That just makes sense to me. But does Bray have to join a group? I'd like to see what he does on his own and what direction could you see him taking with his character. I think we talked about that a little bit. I mean, I don't know. It wherever he goes, I'm sure he'd want to do something different and just kind of change it up. He also says they got to stop saying budget cuts as the reason for these releases when it's reported that WWE made almost $250 million in the last 3 months. Oh yeah, Ronda Rousey was criticizing fans, and he's asking, does she have a point? Well, yeah. I mean, the fans are fickle. Daniel Bryan told us that, so Ronda's justified.
I don't believe or agree with anything Ronda Rousey really has to talk about when it comes to like wrestling and stuff like that. I mean,
why not?
She's making blanket statements about how this. She said literally the exact same people who were chanting for beach balls were the ones who said we want Bray. Like that's just factually not right. And just because
I'm sure it may have been some of the same people.
I mean, maybe, but once again, she just did a big old blanket statement. And then also, as I said, like Bray, he didn't deliver in the ring, which is when these chants were being created. So it's like, okay, Bray's job is to get the crowd invested in his matches, and he didn't do that. Now, yeah, there's always going to be those fans that just go into business for themselves regardless. But I mean, Ronda Rousey has always had a history of just, burying the fans if she doesn't agree with them. So it's just more of the same.
I mean, she was in the first women's main event of WrestleMania, and she was the world champion. She's always right? Isn't that how that works?
Yeah, but she didn't win.
I kind of feel both ways about it. I could see where Ronda's coming from, but also maybe the fans wouldn't have reacted to Bray the way that they reacted to him if he wasn't booked the way he was, especially early on. I'm talking about before all the Fiend stuff. He lost to Cena, right? Which WrestleMania was that? 30?
30, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Lost to Cena at 30. Lost to Taker at 31. Did he even have a match at 32?
No,
but he had a segment with The Rock.
Segment with The Rock, and The Rock beat Rowan. 33 loses to Randy.
33
34 doesn't even have a match, just pops up. 35. Did he even do anything at 35? No, right?
No.
36, he beat John Cena
in a
Firefly Funhouse match.
Firefly Funhouse.
37, he loses to Randy again.
Lost to Randy again.
He got that one. He got that one. That's all that matters. He got that one.
And then all the losses in between, the Goldberg and Seth Rollins.
I mean, come on.
Well, that wasn't really a loss to Seth. It was kind of like a no contest, but
and they squandered a little bit when he was the Eater of Worlds. And I remember he beat Rollins at a pay-per-view. He beat Daniel Bryan at the 2014 Rumble.
That was great.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite Bray matches.
I mean, if we're talking about Daniel Bryan moments, SummerSlam 2013, that's the real moment. After he beat Cena, that's where it really picks up.
About.
Oh, okay. All right.
Just showing the fact that Bray Wyatt's best match was with Daniel Bryan probably says something about Daniel Bryan.
Oh no, I mean his best match was the Elimination Chamber when he won the WWE Championship. He outlasted 5 other men to become the world champion. I mean, yeah. As we wrap it up, Mr. X says, finally, rest in peace to beautiful Bobby Eaton. Yes, absolutely. Let's go over to Monday Night Raw real quick. Let's kind of speed through it all.
Do we have to?
Kind of, yeah. Bobby Lashley has MVP has a promo segment while Lashley stands out there. Goldberg comes out and he says, Lashley, you're a gladiator, this and that. But at SummerSlam, you're next. Walks away. His son got gigantic in 5 years. Jesus Christ. That kid's crazy. 15. He looks like he's 23, 22. That's crazy. And then MVP gets in the kid's face. Goldberg spears MVP. What are your thoughts on this, Brandon?
Yeah, I mean, more of the same from kind of everybody involved. Lashley and MVP doing, good stuff. Goldberg comes out, kind of fumbles around with his lines. Crowd not exactly having it. And the Goldberg's kid looked like either he's a terrible actor, like his father, or he just didn't want to be there and he was put on a boo-boo face.
Probably both.
It wasn't a good look by him. So it was, it wasn't a great segment. It wasn't a great start to the show. And unfortunately, I think we're going to get 3 more episodes, 3 more things like this.
Oh my God. Great.
No, 2 more. Luckily, there's only 2 more episodes of Raw until SummerSlam. Thank God.
Brian, what were your thoughts about this?
Yeah, I kind of agree. The look on Goldberg's son's face when they were headed up that ramp after he speared MVP was just kind of like, yo, can I? Is this over? I was like, oh God, that's not the look you want to have in a segment like this. I mean, there's one thing to be inexperienced and not really know or be nervous, but he looked like he was over it. Goldberg's promo was garbage. Absolutely trash. I can't believe some people on the internet really thought it was a good promo. I did not like it at all. And I think they did good by having MVP Lashley stay quiet and not say anything at all. I thought that was a good move because for what? It's kind of like, why acknowledge you? You're nothing. You You don't phase me, right? Goldberg said a lot of nothing, a lot of pausing, a lot of waiting for the crowd to react. I think WWE should stop with the piping in the crowd noise button, because at some points you hear it, and then at some points it's just like, oh, it's kind of dry there. So yeah, this whole segment was just trash. You can throw it in the trash, and it's unfortunate that we're gonna have to get through this for 2 more weeks, 2.5, whatever, however many days or weeks it is. I don't know, man.
Yeah, it is what it is. I don't know what's happening here. Let Lashley squash Goldberg. This match will be like 5 minutes, and then we'll be done. We'll be done with Bill.
Could be 2.
Or Goldberg wins,
when
then Big E cashes in. He gets his big beefy men bumping meat match, and Big E gets the dub, and he's the new champion. You heard it here first. Even though I stole it from Rich Fan. Shout out Rich Fan. Friend of the podcast.
Hey, that's my homie, man. That's my homie. Shout out, Rich. Well, Goldberg would have finally have won the WWE Championship. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. When people go in the Hall of Fame, maybe they should just not wrestle ever again. You know what I mean?
So Edge needs to retire. He needs to just bug.
Well, no. See, it was taken away from him. That's what Edge is doing is understandable.
Okay.
Yeah. Other than that, that's kind of that. Once you go in there, it's kind of like, all right. Has anybody in the NFL or NBA gone into the Hall of Fame and then come back for another run? Has that ever happened?
Well, usually it's 5 years after you're done playing. I mean, maybe someone came back to play in China or something, but that doesn't.
Michael Jordan did it.
I mean, he went to the Hall of Fame. And then came
I'm
back.
Sorry.
I know he played for the Wizards,
yeah.
but I'm like,
oh, Hall of Fame.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. No. So why would you do this? When Brady goes in, is he gonna have another run with the Patriots?
Probably, because he's a god.
Tom Brady. I mean, he's a Bay Area god. Absolutely. So Charlotte Flair has a promo. The fans chant Becky. Charlotte's so good. She shuts that ish down real quick. Where's Charlotte from, Brian?
The Queen
City. From the Queen City, baby. From the Queen City. That's where I'm a Bill Brandon as being from. From the
had a layover flight in Charlotte. Great place. Great fried chicken in the airport. It was fantastic. I think it was. I don't know if it was Bojangles or what it was, but similar to Popeyes. Something. It was quite tasty.
Brandon, we have enough fried chicken in O'Hare Airport pretty soon.
I don't know if they got what kind of fried chicken they got over there. Maybe some deep dish pizza. I don't know.
I've had pizza in O'Hare Airport. It is delicious. I can.
I'm not the biggest fan of deep dish pizza because it's just a soup. Why would if I'm going to order a soup, I just order a soup.
I mean, you got to get a really good deep dish that's not all soupy. We'll talk about this later. But yeah, Charlotte has a promo, and then she wrestles Nikki Cross later on in the night, and Nikki Cross wins.
Nikki Ash, Nikki ASH, almost a superhero. Which, put my journalism hat on for a second. They need to change the graphic because it has ASH and they don't have a dot after the H. I mean, that's bad writing right there.
That is
hire your boy.
I mean, come on, man. They hire you. Maybe I can sit in on the booking meetings with Vince and give him some ideas. And we'll have Brian there as a ring announcer. He'll be Charlotte's personal ring announcer.
Would love that job.
I think the three of us can make this happen.
You don't even have to pay me to do that. I do that for free.
No, don't say that.
Oh,
you want to get paid. You want to get paid.
Okay.
You want to bring in that cheddar.
Oh, yeah. All right, chill.
Yeah, but I mean, Brian, you're the Charlotte fan here. We're the Charlotte fans here. How'd you feel about a promo?
It was great.
About her match with Nikki Cross, Ash Cross.
Great. Made Nikki look like $1 million.
I know. She carried Nikki Cross.
Oh, does she ever not
carry
anybody?
It's a damn shame when the world champion has to be carried in a match. Jesus.
You know what? I respect, and this is why Charlotte is just great. She's put in this position to elevate the youth, elevate the new upcoming, whether it be Nikki Ash, Rhea Ripley. She's been put in this position to elevate. It didn't really work with Rhea Ripley. I mean, sorry. I mean, sometimes people just don't like you, Rhea. So now you're put in this position to lift up Nikki Ash, and it's working, but Charlotte's in-ring skills, the ability, the athleticism, the perfection, it outweighs the superhero gimmick. I'm sorry. I mean, people, they boo Charlotte, but as soon as she laces up those boots,
Charlotte is. Hey, I'm sorry, Britt, but Charlotte might be the baddest bee on the block. You feel me? Feel me?
I would love to see that match. Britt Baker don't want the smoke.
Hey, bro. Hey, like, let's say Rick goes over to AEW and they start that little dynasty thing. Bro, if Charlotte Flair popped up there, I mean, come on.
Tony Khan better set it up.
TK, you got the checkbook, bro. Find out when that contract is coming up. And
then what? Charlotte's gonna leave, and then everybody, oh my God, even Charlotte left. They should have treated Charlotte better. Nah.
I don't think people have a problem with it because like they have too many male stars. They don't have enough female stars. But Brandon, what are your thoughts on the Charlotte promo and the match with Nikki?
Oh yeah, we were talking about Raw. I forgot.
I'm sorry.
Charlotte for like
we started. Well, I mean, we're still talking about the baddest bee on the block. Don't get it twisted.
Well, I cannot, take all this thicky ASH slander on this podcast, but the Charlotte promo, it was fine. I mean, it was good. The Nikki Ash stuff is just, I was not a fan of it to begin with, and then now they're doing 50-50 booking, and like she wins, but she like barely wins, even though she's a champion, and I get it. She's supposed to be like the scrappy underdog, but it's not working for me. And I think it's not working for the crowd either, because I think they see through it. Like, yeah, you have this really kind of dumb, goofy superhero gimmick, but then yet she's like so oblivious that she's not doing great, but yet she still believes in herself. Gosh darn it. So she's going to try her hardest and she's going to win. And I just don't think that's what people want in baby faces.
Yeah.
They don't want to cheer for people like that. They just look like a clown.
Pretty much. They're out here walking around like Doink and Dink. That's what they look like. Maybe Dink. She's a smaller individual. But I mean, I don't know what's happening here. I really don't. I don't know why. Rhea Ripley defeats Nia Jax. Oh, poor Nia. Poor baby. She's bleeding across the face though. She looked like a warrior. That's how you do it. She hit the riptide after, Nia had a little argument with Shayna Baszler. If they break up, does that mean Shayna Baszler is going to go back to being a badass?
I hope so, but I'm not saying like this feud was ever hot, but if they would have capitalized on this like a few months ago, it would have meant like a lot more. But now they've just kind of run their course, and we've seen them like bicker and argue so many different times that I really just don't care at this point.
I mean, Shayna Baszler, she was the NXT champion. She was the APW Women's champion. Saw her wrestle in the Cow Palace. I mean, come on.
I mean, I will say the reason Rhea got NXT was because Shayna Baszler was the best heel maybe that company's ever had.
Yeah, she beat her for the title, right?
Yeah, that's the reason why Rhea was so over, is because she was the one who finally beat Shayna. And then once Rhea didn't have Shayna, I mean, she's gotten better lately, but it just hasn't been the same. I
mean, just make Shayna a badass again. Hell, throw Paul with her on Monday nights. Call it a night. Call it a day. You feel me? What else happened on Raw? Omos defeats Riddle. I love Omos. Shout out Omos. Brian, what are your thoughts on Omos so far?
The selling's getting better. It's getting much better. I think I just need him to be a little more aggressive. He's not as athletic, and his agility isn't like as good as any other big guy.
Or maybe he's playing just the big guy. Like maybe he might get more athletic and agile over time. We don't know. We don't. I mean, like that face he makes when he runs at somebody, and like the way he has to like put more effort into running because he's so damn big is great. I love it.
I'm not buying.
Oh, I love it. What are your thoughts on the finisher? I can't do it. What are your thoughts on the finisher?
What's the finisher again?
He's just like, he holds him up and he just.
Oh yeah, no. Nah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe a power bomb.
Yeah, something.
Or you know what?
Spike.
The Nigerian nail. Or Braun, he used to do like that. He used to hold him up and choke him. Hey, that would work for him because he's hella tall. I think that would work. Like, he just like holds him up and like they're dangling and he chokes him out. I think that would be cool.
Yeah.
Drew McIntyre defeats Veer and Shanky via DQ. These names are great. I love. Hey, Veer looks like he could be something. The one with the beard, like the big burly man. He looks like he could be.
Where's the other one?
What, Shanky?
No, his partner, Veer's partner.
Shanky.
No.
Wasn't there? Was there somebody else?
Yeah, they dressed alike.
I don't
What
know.
were they? They were a tag team in NXT.
For like
And
2 episodes. Malcolm Bivens.
Yeah, Malcolm
Bivens
Bivens
never did anything.
here. Now you know.
I think I released.
He was the one who showed the pic or uploaded the picture of Keith Lee winning both the titles at Great American Bash.
And never saw him again.
Yeah,
Pretty much. You don't reveal that stuff.
Shout out Keith Lee beating Karrion Kross, and now 50-50 booking, yay! And then
You see, he won a
Jeff
match.
Hardy will be back.
You guys calm down. He carried Karrion Kross. He carried him to a somewhat decent match. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I guess it was semi decent.
I didn't even watch it. What am I talking about? Let's go over to AEW. Let's get through all this stuff. Brandon, take it away.
Oh, I get to host it now. Yay. So we started off the show with the third labor of Jericho. We get Chris Jericho taking on Juventud Guerrera with MJF on commentary. Jericho had to hit a move off the top rope to get the win. Juvi looked, in good shape. They tried to pull off some 1998 moves, which didn't go exactly according to plan. Tony Schiavone really putting over their 98 Sturgis match, really getting on that WCW nostalgia, brother. And this match was not that great. Jericho just kind of looked a step behind, but kayfabe wise and storyline wise, he's had 3 grueling matches in a row, so he shouldn't be, a spry spring chicken. But I didn't really enjoy the match all too much. I don't know what I was expecting as a top rope move, like a moonsault or a frog splash or something, but we get a spinning juice effect. Phillip, thoughts on the match?
Well, don't talk about my friend like that. Hold on. Don't talk about my friend Chris Jericho.
I said it made sense why he just didn't look that great because he's had 3 grueling matches.
I was a little confused. I thought he just had to hit a top rope move. I didn't know he had to win with a top rope move. And when he did the crossbody, I'm like, oh, okay, that's cool. And then he hit the Judas effect and like, but that doesn't mean he wins. I'm like, wait, what? He can't. I was like, oh, I guess he has to hit one off the top rope for the win. The spinning Judas effect, it was cool. We've never seen Jericho do anything like that, like twisting in the air like that. So, it happened. He hit him. He actually connected, so that's good. There was no air, which made it look even better. Brian, what are your thoughts on the finish? I saw you tweeted about it.
Yeah, it had a bad start, and I'm a big Chris Jericho Hoovy fan. I was at the Cow Palace Super Brawl 8 when he took Hoovy's mask, so this was a big deal for me. Yeah, but it started off bad. The ending was good though. I was surprised. The spinning Judas effect off the top rope. And yeah, Brandon, you said Hoovy, he looked in shape. He does look in shape, but I don't know if he was nervous or what, because he's obviously still small, but not small. Like, I don't know, man. Like, I thought he was gonna be able to hit those moves, the head scissor off the top, the Hurricane Rana off the middle rope. I was disappointed overall of the match. The finish was good, but overall the match to me was not hitting.
Yeah, Hoovy did better at that Cow Palace show we went to. I don't know what was up.
Yeah, I'm not going to put all the blame on Jericho, but Jericho isn't exactly what he was in '98. He's not going to just fly around taking Hurricane Ranas all over the place. So you kind of got to be a little more, a little more centered, a little more.
He has like 500 WWE house shows on his belt,
and then that's why he can't take a Hurricane Rana like he used to.
Yes,
so we get the fourth labor is going to be Jericho versus Wardlow with MJF. I thought he said like special referee, but then they later just said he was going to be a ringside, which I guess is going to be kind of the way they skirt it. So Brian, maybe how do you think they're going to get out of this one? Because assume Jericho is going to win again, or do you think they just stop it at the fourth one and he's not going to get at MJF right now?
I think he'll win this fourth one. Very underwhelming opponent. The way he announced it, even himself saying, and the one person that's gonna make sure that this is called down the middle. I said, oh, here it is, Ultimate Dragon or somebody. But it was just himself. And yeah, I think somehow, some way, maybe disqualification. Maybe Jericho wins by disqualification, and that's how he gets.
Yeah, I kind of wish like the opponent would be somebody else, like another blast from the past.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't know who you could get. Goldberg's on the other channel. Yeah, like I'm just trying to think.
You could do Big Show.
They do have history. Jerry Show, which the theme song slaps. But you know,
I said you bring Shawn Michaels over from NXT. You finished that off.
No. It ended in a beautiful ladder match at No Mercy 2008. We don't need to do that. Yeah, I don't know who you would choose, but it's interesting. What else happened on AEW?
Well, we got a 6-man tag match. We had Jon Moxley, Eddie Kingston, and Darby Allin with Sting taking on Daniel Garcia and 2.0, the former Ever Rise. I think I was just finally getting to remember their names on NXT, and now they got completely different names.
Oh, that's them?
In AEW. Yeah, they're just right back into the swing of things.
Okay. Shout out Daniel Garcia. He's going to be out here next week for West Coast Pro, taking on Jacob Fatu.
There you go. And then, the baby faces win pretty handily. It went through a commercial break, but, it was kind of like a glorified squash match, to be honest. Brian, thoughts on this 6-man, just kind of getting the stars out there?
Very quick. 2.0 on AEW. Very, very quick. Surprised to see them. No Scorpio Sky still, but it was real random. This is AEW's MO, like, random trios, random pairings like Darby and
I will say Darby and Moxley are kind of like big brother, little brother. Then obviously Moxley and Kingston are kind of together. So Moxley is kind of the center of it all, and they're kind of like his two friends, I guess. So
okay.
Yeah, for me, the pairing did make sense, but it did kind of feel out of nowhere because they just kind of put them together.
Yeah,
the match was cool.
No Scorpio Sky, like you said. Maybe that video we watched was right.
I enjoyed the spot with Sting. I forget which one it is, Matt or Jeff of 2.0. I forget who they are, but the spot where he's like looking up at Sting and he's like, "Oh my God, you're the real Sting!" and then Darby just comes drilling at him. What is it? Suicide Dive? I'm not sure which
Coffin
one
dive.
it was.
I don't know. It's just coughing everything for
coffin dive. Coffin car.
Coffin cough. Mm.
It was a good match though. It was pretty cool.
Moving on, we get Christian Cage taking on the Blade, and Christian gets the win. Good for Christian, and we get a backstage segment later on in the show, and Christian talks about he's number one contender. So we looking at Christian versus what's his face? Kenny Omega for the AEW title at All Out.
Finally, Kenny's gonna have a good match. Jesus, can't wait, man. I mean, that'd be cool, man. Like Brandon and I are seriously talking about making the trip to Chicago.
I mean, seriously, I'm definitely going. I don't know about you.
I mean, if Christian's doing a meet and greet, I am there. That's one of my favorites of all time, Matt. I'm happy for Christian. I mean, the match with the Blade was cool. He won with the spear. It's a great Canadian move. Shout out Edge. Yeah, I think it'd be interesting. I think it would be very interesting. See these clash of styles. The old veteran trying to have another go around before he officially hangs him up against what many people think is the current greatest wrestler in the world today, but he's just an overhyped jack. Yeah.
Brian, any thoughts on Christian and where he's going?
I guess, I guess. I mean, I don't want to see that at All Out.
Were you kind of like me and kind of thinking that they needed to go to the Hangman match, or are you kind of the one that thinks like they can hold off on it?
No, I think the Hangman match should have happened. It should happen at All Out. You could still do that. I mean, I know the speculation with Punk and everything, but if Punk's supposed to be coming at the United Center, then you're good to go for All Out, man. Hangman's good.
Yeah, I don't understand why they wouldn't do that. And unless, like I said, I think I said this on In the Click, like they announced the United Center, but he really shows up at All Out. And, you know, like if that's true, then that will completely overshadow Hangman 100%, 1,000%.
You think so?
Yeah. He's back for the first time in 7 years, back in wrestling in general.
It definitely will overshadow it in terms of like news and everything like that. But in the show in general, like people there, I think they'll still be happy for Hangman if they decide to do the Punk stuff maybe early on, maybe not wait until after Hangman wins.
I mean, like I'm trying to think, is like that's going to be a massive pop. They're going to be cheering their heads off. I don't want them to be quiet for the match and the eventual, let's say Hangman wins. I don't want them to be quiet for that. I want them to be going bonkers.
Yeah. But I think if you have a Christian Kenny match, they're just more likely to be even quieter.
Why would you be quiet?
I just don't see maybe they can tell a story, but I think with a month, 3 weeks to go, I just don't see how they can get Christian like that over and that hot to face Kenny. I would honestly think maybe the crowd would maybe possibly turn and just cheer Kenny.
Why would they? Why would they cheer him? He's a bad guy. He's a villain. We don't cheer heels.
You want to know something though? It's just like Charlotte Flair, Kenny in that ring. It's something that he does sometimes that makes.
What does he do? Well, honestly, what does he do?
7 stars of the Tokyo Dome, brother.
Phil.
Dave Meltzer is not the god of wrestling. He doesn't know wrestling. I've been in a ring. I've actually taken a bump. I'm more of an expert about this than Dave Meltzer. Get that out of here. Get that off of my show.
But Phil, wait.
Omega doesn't do anything, man. You know? He's not Jordan on the court, no matter how much he wants to be with his North Carolina. Look, he's just a mark who happens to be employed by a company, and he happens to be their champion. That's all it is. He's not that great. He throws up his little bicycle knee. His finisher takes too damn long to hit. It's actually stupid. God, hell, they should put the title on Christian. I'll be okay with it. Christian's finisher, the kill switch actually looks cool. Jesus Christ. Y'all got me all worked up.
Well, there was a Britt Baker promo on the show. Tony Schiavone is in the middle of the ring interviewing Britt, and Britt just, kind of just doing her thing. And then Red Velvet comes out. They do a little face-off. Red Velvet, gets a little feisty at her. And they set up a match on Rampage on next Friday, first show, and it'll be in Pittsburgh, home of Britt Baker. So
it'll be in Britsburg.
Sorry, Britsburg, Pennsylvania.
Yes. Adam Cole pops up there. Boom.
Boom. There it is.
It is what it is. I mean, Britt Baker, she's that bee. She's the baddest bee on the block. And this should be interesting. I'm intrigued to see what happens here.
I feel sorry for Red Velvet because I know that she's most likely going to lose.
Oh, yeah.
Because there's no way that Tony Khan is going to set that tone like Vince does and have the champions in the hometown people lose in their hometown. So there's no way he's going to do that.
Champions of color? AEW doesn't do that.
Let's go back to that video.
Let's go back to the video.
What are you talking about? Miro is Eastern European.
Look at the champions in WWE. Look at the champions in AEW. Come on.
That video should also be shown to a lot of people who don't see that in WWE as well. A lot of people criticize WWE. I think it's a very educational video.
It is
all parts of the internet.
People will be like, no, this is just the creative direction right now, and I would love to have that argument with somebody. I might have to show this to a couple people.
I think it also hurts because Cody and AEW are kind of out front and saying like they're going to be like the very diverse company, and like they're they do really well at help with the charities and doing stuff with the LGBTQ community and stuff like that. But when it comes to racial diversity, I mean it's really just in the tag team division. That's it. And maybe
Yep.
a little bit in the women's division, but then like as the video says, in the men's singles division,
Is it in the tag team division?
I mean, you have Pride and Power for you got the Lucha Bros.
They're not
You
the
got-
champions.
Well, I mean, I said the tag division. I didn't say the
And
tag
they
champion.
lose all the time.
Huh.
Plus, like they threw the Lucha Bros and Andrade and Chavo. They threw the Latin guys in one little story together.
And then what happens, when the forbidden door is open and we're going to get a bunch of Japanese wrestlers?
And then they're all only going to wrestle each other.
Yeah, they just wrestle Kenny and John Moxley.
Yes. Hangman calls out the Elite.
He does call out the Elite. He distances himself. He says, Dark Order, it's not you, it's me. We're gonna go our separate ways. And he calls out the Elite, and then the Elite just beat him down. The Dark Order try to make the save, but Uno and Grayson stop him, and Hangman just gets laid out. Just kind of very somber. Pairing this with Christian announces a number one contender. I mean, I don't know exactly where they go from here unless we get Sad Drunk Cowboy again, which that didn't really help him.
It didn't. Brian, what are your thoughts?
It confused me because I'm like, I thought the match with Hangman was done. Thought it was over. This brought some hope back, but then Christian being announced as number one contender, it makes me believe that maybe they'll do that match, the Christian and Kenny match before All Out,
or there's gonna be a contract signing. Somebody's gonna jump Christian. They try to sign the contract, and then Hangman comes out and signs the contract.
Who would be the Baron Corbin of AEW?
Who? Wait. No, this has never happened before. What are you talking about?
Oh, I mean, who's like someone in AEW who's like really down on their luck, trying to turn things around? Maybe
Cody.
QT Marshall?
Who? Who did you say?
he said QT. I said Cody.
Oh my God, that would be interesting. Or maybe it's Frankie Kazarian. He wants Kenny Omega so bad.
There you go. Maybe Christian Daniels just randomly shows up again.
Oh yeah, whatever happened to that guy?
I don't know.
Or this guy, maybe.
Maybe.
They won't do that. They won't put him in that kind of position.
We
all
have
know
the
why.
the Eastern European champion / TNT champion Miro. He takes on Lee Johnson and he beats him. Miro very dominant early on. Johnson gets a little bit of a comeback at the end, and then Miro gets the win. They're kind of spinning their wheels with Miro right now, just kind of doing a lot of the God's favorite wrestler type stuff. No real clear cut challenger. Don't know if they're waiting for someone to debut, come back. Who knows? But it was fine.
It happened. I mean, him holding up the championship like that. I mean, that's how Brian wants to hold up the Bulletcast title. Am I right?
You are right about that.
Actually, you know what? Hand me the Bulletcast
Absolutely
championship.
right about that.
Come on.
Shout out
Come
CJ
on.
Perry, who was making celebratory brownies for Miro's win.
Man.
We're making what?
Making celebratory brownies and just randomly doing a splits in her kitchen.
Like that?
Really? Oh, all this stuff is happening. Here we go. There it is.
Because Miro is thankful for God and having a double jointed wife.
That's
I
what I'm
mean,
talking about.
If I was in his shoes, I'd be thankful too.
Extremely thankful.
Absolutely. Rampage.
We got an announced
Rampage.
team.
We have an announced
Uh-oh.
team. Excalibur, Taz, Le Champion, Chris Jericho, and my uncle Mark Henry. Hey man, I mean, Excalibur. I thought he should have got fired after some things, but Taz, he dissects moves very well. Chris Jericho's over the top, and Mark Henry, he is a Hall of Fame worthy talent. So I'm excited. Let's see.
I haven't seen any of Mark Henry's commentary, but I've seen some stuff on Dark and Excalibur and Taz. A little casual on those shows. Maybe now that they could be on Rampage, they can kind of turn it up a little bit. But Brian, any thoughts on the announced team?
Yeah. If this is going to be the main announced team for Rampage, then I hate it. I think it's way too many.
Yeah, I don't know why they have 4. Like maybe
Yeah.
you can switch out Jericho and Henry, but I just don't know.
I don't think all 4 will be at the booth at the same time.
You don't think so?
No, man. Maybe they'll switch in and out.
Here's my question: is Rampage going to have a different stage setup?
It should. It needs to. It needs to look completely different. You know.
Cody
Needs
said the
to.
logo on the canvas is coming back too.
Oh, okay. All right. Needs to have that WCW Thunder set up.
Yeah.
We get our one women's match of the show. We get Layla Hirsch taking on The Bunny for the NWA number one contendership match. And Layla Hirsch gets the win. Good for her. Nobody got hurt, so we can ask for, right, Brian?
Legit Layla Hirsch
Yo.
is going up against Camille for the NWA Women's World Championship. The size difference is impeccable.
Look like Big Show versus Rey Mysterio or something.
It looked like Omos versus Hornswoggle. Stop playing.
Now
Stop playing.
she did have some heels on, right? I mean,
no, she tall, bro. Like I've seen pictures of her kind of towering over Aldous a little bit. So you know what I mean. Like
yeah.
Camille is a tall one, and this is going to be interesting. I'm excited. I like Layla Hirsch. Her theme song is actually good. It's one of the few good ones that AEW has. You know, this should be interesting at Empower. I'm excited.
We get Jade Cargill. She's still around, apparently making money moves, and she's going to be back, but not on Dynamite, not on Rampage, not on Dark, but Dark Elevation. Baby.
So when does Jade Cargill, that bitch, wrestle Britt Baker, the baddest bitch on the block, for the AEW title? It's a battle of the. I'm not gonna go there, but you know what I mean. When's that happening?
Full Gear. Maybe. I don't know if you want to pull the trigger that early.
I mean, I don't know.
Thunder Rose is still out there. They need to go to that. I don't think they need to go to it soon, but I also know they kind of want to keep Jade away from the title, or away from losing until they absolutely have to.
Absolutely. Brian, what are your thoughts?
I'm totally lost with Jade and the direction that this is going and the entire AEW women's division. I just don't know where it's going. I hope they figure it out. Maybe they need Charlotte, man. I don't know.
I mean, at least they explained why she wasn't there, why she hasn't been on TV. I at least like how they did that. I guess I'll just jump into it real quick. The end of Dynamite is Malachi Black defeats Cody. It was a pretty decent match. The entrance of Malachi Black was really cool. I like that. The music fits him. The WWE theme song was way better. And then, after Malachi, let's get into the match first. Brandon, what are your thoughts on the match?
The match was fine. It was very reminiscent of the Cody Brody match, just very dominant by Black, and he gets put over strong. And I think that has, people will say like, oh, they're pushing the EVPs too hard. But when it comes to Cody, he's very generous when it comes to who he puts over and how strong he does it. And this is just another instance here.
Brian.
I agree. I wasn't expecting him to put over Black as hard as he did, but he did that. And I'm actually proud of Cody because as of late, it's been kind of one-sided, but I'm proud. Black, I didn't really like the entrance that much. I'm sad that it had to happen in Daly's Place. I think Daly's Place is a weird.
Yeah. Why did they go back there so soon? Like, that doesn't make sense to me. Like, you were here for like over a year. Why would you go back there that soon?
I don't know if it's like tickets or something. If they had like a show that they had originally before COVID and they had to reschedule and they reschedule again. I mean, I don't know if that's the only like logical reason. Cause I do agree. Cause like when they went back to Daly's Place, like, oh, we're just kind of back in the COVID era. Yeah, there's fans, but I kind of wanted to get away from that.
Yeah, like they don't need to go there for at least another 2 years.
But Tony Khan did say he announced, I think they're doing like a New Year's Eve show and they're trying to make that like a regular thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's December 29th or something like that.
All right, cool. And then I guess after that, Cody He's on the mic. He talks about how he was 15. He wanted to win the title that they took away from his daddy. R.I.P. to the American Dream. And he teased retirement. He was left one boot in the ring, was about to take off the other. Malachi hits him in the back with a crutch. So yeah, Brian, what are your thoughts on this segment?
Well, I thought Cody was going to retire. I had a feeling that somebody was going to come out. I didn't think it was going to be Black to come back out and hit him with the crutch. It was kind of weird. I kept looking at my phone. I was like, Cody, you got 2 minutes, man. Come on. What are you doing? Are you retiring? Are you waiting for is this setting somebody to right? Are you setting up another feud, a new feud? But I don't know, man. It's just kind of weird. It's weird.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree. It was a little weird, but I kind of liked it. I thought there was like so many different emotions, and there was like kind of little swerves, like kind of built throughout, because you bring in Tony Schiavone. They do the Conor McGregor Joe Rogan interview where they're like sitting down on the canvas doing the interview, and then they throw the crutch in there. So I'm like, oh, that crutch going to be a weapon? Is he going to turn on Tony? Because I still believe whoever turns on Tony Schiavone, like beats him up legit, is going to like get just such massive heat. And I think they're doing a great job of kind of like saving that for when it really does matter. And so I thought maybe we're going to get a Cody heel turn. No. And then they just kind of randomly throw out the retirement, and Cody does a really good, like he did the retirement angle, but he also kind of did like the raw AEW speech. So there was like just so many different things going on in that, like however long it was, 5-minute little segment. And then, yeah, like Malachi Black coming out at the end was a little bit of a whimper, but I think overall, just all the different emotions and twists and turns that Cody had us on, I thought it was really well done.
My guy said flat out, we're not an alternative. We are the competition. I was like, oh, okay. All right.
He always does this to himself, man.
If they get Adam, Daniel, Brian and Phil Brooks, they might be the legit competition. All right, I guess that's gonna do it for the AEW talk. This is a marathon episode, but I love it. I love this. I love all the different perspectives. All right, Superstar Spotlight. Who do you got? Brian, this doesn't have to be anybody from WWE or AEW. If you've seen another wrestler that you thought shined in the past week, you can pick them. But for me, I'm gonna go with Malachi Black. He's the blackest thing about AEW right now, and I'm a fan. Shout out! Congratulations to the former Tommy End. Popped up at PWG too. Yes.
I'm gonna go with Pretty Deadly from NXT UK.
Okay, all right. We don't talk about NXT UK here. We should.
Yeah.
Maybe we should.
They coming out. They're two of my favorite guys right now.
Maybe we should just never talk about Kenny Omega again and just talk about NXT UK. I might do that from now on. I don't care if he's their champion. Yeah.
So I'm the NXT guy. I'll go the NXT route. I'll give it to Dakota Kai. I thought they had a really good sit-down interview, kind of explaining her actions and kind of going throughout why she turned on Raquel Gonzalez. Even though I feel it's a little rushed, but I thought she had a good promo this week.
All right. Our promo pick of the week: Bray Wyatt and the Children's Choir serenade John Cena on Monday Night Raw from April 28th, 2014. He's got the whole world in his hands. It was creepy when I first saw it all those years ago, and rewatching, I'm like, yeah, man, this still holds up. This is cool. This is different. I like it. Yeah, Brandon, what are your thoughts on this?
Very early on in Bray's career, both, me and Brian kind of talked about how we like this incarnation of Bray Wyatt a lot more. And yeah, this was a very memorable segment. They had all the sheep's mask. I have one, by the way, shout out. So yeah, I mean, it was Bray Wyatt, cult leader, back when he was, young and fresh, and he had the whole world in his hands, one might say.
I do like how it evolved from follow the buzzards to he's got the whole world in his hands. And side note, that first SmackDown when he's WWE champion, he did say, I finally have the whole world in my hands. I was like, okay, or continuity. I like that, Bray.
Mm-hmm.
Brian, what are your thoughts on this?
Thought it was great. Watching it back is like, man, that crowd, they were so into it, invested, almost shocked, like didn't really know what was going on. I thought the kids was a great touch. And then the laughter, him rocking back and forth in the chair, laughing with the kid, with the kids with the sheep mask sitting in his lap.
It was creepy, and I like how I liked it. I was like, yo, this is weird, and I like this. I don't know why, but I like this. And then, like I said, man, this is back in the time when Bray, like, he would cut promos and he would ramble, and they didn't really make any sense. You know what I mean? Oh my god, I kind of miss those though. Like, he would just say some really random ish. You know what I mean? Oh.
Not a what chant in sight though. You know,
No.
like that's what I said earlier. Like he has that ability when he's on the mic to just grab your attention.
That's Mike Masterfee right there, if that's a word.
It is now.
Yeah, there we go. Brandon, tell us about our match pick of the week.
Match pick of the week. We're going to go down the SummerSlam route. We're going to go to 2002. We got the opener. We got Kurt Angle taking on Rey Mysterio. Old school SmackDown here is a sprint of a match, like 10 minutes, just them technically going back and forth. It's what you would expect between these two guys, and just a really well done, fast paced opener.
Absolutely, man. It was great. I saw this a couple of days ago in a undisclosed location, but it was great, man. I had fun. It was a good time. Brian, I know you know this is a banger.
Absolutely, Kurt Angle, man. Special.
Man, that guy won an Olympic gold medal with a broken freaking neck.
Watching this match back, it's kind of like you're like, man, like back then they just had so many special guys and they just let them go at it. And it makes you look at the roster they have now. And it's like, man, they have so many special guys. Why don't they just let them go out there and just have a good match? 10, 15 minutes, go out there and, like you said, Brandon, have a sprint. You don't see enough of that in WWE. And like you said, Phil, earlier with the big guys, there's a lot of big guys in front of the line right now. So
yeah, they're coming back. It's like they were the thing for the longest time, and then it became like kind of the middle-sized guys, like a Brett and a Shawn, and then as we evolved into what do you want to say, the mid 2000s, Ray had his run, and then we get to the 2010s. Brian and Punk have their run, and then we're morphing back. That's all it is. That's all it is, man. All right. Real quick, Ugwa, they're returning to the Ritz this Sunday night. I will be live in attendance because you got to support the boys. Super Beast and Dave Dutra are going to be fighting for the undisputed Ugwa Championship. D Rogue will be in attendance. World's Freshest Tag Team. Alpha Zoe, DJ Fresh, they're defending the tag titles. A lot of crazy issues about to be happening there, man. I saw them putting together some weapons. There are doors. There's barbed wire. If you guys can make it out to the Ritz this Sunday, go out there. Tickets, pre-sales, $20, $25 at the door. Ugwa, they know how to do it right, and they're about to put on some classic magic for y'all. That is going to do it for us. Brian, thank you so much for joining us. Let the people know where they can find you and your podcast.
You guys can find me at Brian Tronic on Twitter and Instagram, at Within the Ropes on Twitter and Instagram as well. Subscribe to Within the Ropes podcast on, everywhere you listen to your favorite podcasts.
All right, there we go. Follow us on Twitter at Bulletcast, Instagram, The Bulletcast, YouTube channel, The Bulletcast, emails, Bulletcast2 is the number 2, sweet as WET at gmail.com, 104.7 FM KPU in Watsonville every Friday night from 11 p.m. to midnight. iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn, iHeartRadio, Anchor, Spotify, Patreon. We're all over the damn place. Stay clean, stay strong, stay safe, get vaxxed and waxed. You people, put on your mask. I'm not trying to go backwards. I will make personal house calls to kick some ass. I'll make personal house calls to whoop some ass. We have to go backwards. You understand me? Diamonds are forever. So is the microphone Messiah. Have a good night, everybody.
This elite podcast in here. Ain't nobody better. Look. Yeah. Listen to us every time we live in the side. When you turn it on, it's just defining the mind. If you feel it, our opinions is great.
This has been the Bulletcast. Thank you for listening.